You hear it all the time. If you want to lead a peaceful, centered, calm, happy, connected life, the key is meditation. But if you're anything like me, you hear that and it seems to go in one ear and out the other. It's been a long struggle for me to develop a meditation practice. It often felt like there was a huge boulder in my way, even though I connect in a lot of other different ways. Well, one thing I'll say is that since having developed a regular meditation practice, I gotta admit, they were right. Meditation really is the key. But there are a few specific things that I wish someone had told me before I started meditating that really would have made all the difference in the world to get started. I'm Asia Suler of One Willow Apothecaries, and these are the 3 things that I wish someone had told me when I began meditating. The first thing is the reality that meditation is often 99% mind chatter and only about 1% transcendence. I think one of the things that really prevented me from dropping into a meditation practice sooner was I had this idea that when I was meditating, it was all going to be this bliss bubble, me hovering a few feet off the ground. And when I dropped in and that wasn't happening, I thought that I was doing it wrong. But now that I have a regular meditation practice, what I know is that one of the purposes of meditation is to give your mind enough time to decompress from whatever is going on in your life so you can have those few moments of transcendence. Now, for me, this normally comes in around the 10 to 15 minute mark. Often it takes me 10 to 15 minutes before I get to a space where I really feel like my mind is relaxing and I'm really tapping in or really sinking into this feeling of peaceful being. Now, that doesn't mean that those 10 to 15 minutes are a waste by any stretch of the means. In fact, I find when I meditate before bed, that 10 to 15 minutes of my mind dumping actually saves me a longer period of time when I'm trying to go to sleep and my mind wheels just keep turning. So that time of the mind dump is actually incredibly important and it's part of the meditation. So for me, once I sort of hit that midpoint where in my meditation where I have those transcendent moments, it's like even if it's just a minute or two, it makes the whole experience worthwhile. It's really those moments that for me make meditation something that I go back to time and time again. For me, meditation revolves around those few precious moments, and truly all it takes is a few moments to be totally reset in your body and mind. It's amazing how this can happen. It's just that it takes some mind chatter in between. Oftentimes then I have these numinous moments, a minute, 2 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then if I'm meditating long enough, the mind might come back in again, and that's totally okay. Now I know that that's part of the process, and the more I practice meditation, the more and the longer duration those moments of numinous revelation are. The second thing I wish I had known right from the get-go is that another word for meditation is just coming home. You know, we spend so much of our day giving energy out to other people, other things, giving energy out through our thoughts. And for me, what really opened the gateway to wanting to meditate was realizing that meditation was my opportunity to come back to myself. As someone who's a highly sensitive person and an empath, I often get very energetically involved with other people and things throughout my life, and it can almost start to feel like I'm actually outside of myself if I don't take enough time to quietly connect back in. Meditation for me is like going from point A to point B in terms of coming back to myself. And in fact, one of my go-to meditations is something that I call a return to self meditation, where I actually visualize different lights of myself and my energy and where they are in the world or with certain people, and I call them back home. Sometimes I need to do this for a while before I can drop into any other type of meditation or continued awareness. And sometimes that is the meditation. If I've had a particularly frazzled day or I really feel dislocated from myself, the whole point of sitting in meditation is to come back into what I'd call my home frequency, sort of my flow, where I'm at, what I'm feeling, including the depth and range of emotions that I'm feeling. So these coming home meditations don't always feel totally peaceful or blissful, but they always feel incredibly grounding. And really that grounding of coming back into yourself is where all other revelations come from. So for me, just this awareness that meditating can just be about coming home, coming back to yourself, changed my whole practice of sitting. The third thing is that trying to meditate is meditating. Now, full disclosure here, my dad is a meditator, and this is something he said to me growing up. And, it's something I heard, but I didn't really hear, if you know what I mean. So now that I have heard it and understand it, it changes the way I sit every single time I drop into meditation. Again, we have this idea that meditation looks a particular way, but really trying to meditate, sitting, laying, listening to a guided meditation, that's all you meditating. Meditation is the practice. So when you try to meditate, you're doing it. So let go of the feeling like there's a right or wrong way to meditate, because there totally isn't. And in fact, there are so many different ways to meditate. Oftentimes we hear that word meditate and we think, okay, I have to sit and clear my mind completely of all thoughts. But there's so many different ways to tune in. There's moving meditation, things like yoga or ecstatic dance. There's meditation where you have very specific focuses, like a metta meditation, where you're actually holding and giving compassion to specific people or places in your life. There's Zazen meditation, where you are completely clearing your mind or maybe even tapping into the absurdities. There's laughing meditation. There's mindfulness meditation, where you're just aware of whatever thought comes into your mind and going, hey there, without trying to change it. So you can really do some research and sort of cast around and find the type of meditation that works for you. Maybe you don't like sitting. It's too uncomfortable and it doesn't feel good. That's fine. You can lay down. Maybe listening to music or a drumming track just makes you anxious. That's totally okay too. Listen to a guided meditation or just to silence. This is really your creation. And for me, this is very helpful when I think about sitting, especially when I'm feeling resistant to going into my meditative practice that day. I think, okay, this is my total creative artistic tableau, and I can make this be however I want it to be. And the more I discover different practices, the more I realize that there are different times and places where different meditations come in handy. And that's perfectly great. You can also choose to meditate for different lengths of time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. There is no right or wrong here. And again, it just comes back to this awareness that if you're trying to meditate, if you're making the space to meditate, then you're doing it. If you're interested in classes where guided meditation is an intricate part of learning about plants and stones in your own consciousness, then I invite you to head over to my website and check out my whole catalog of online classes. I love creating guided meditations, and I personally find them so helpful, not just to connect with myself and my own inner knowing, but actually to make my imagination more accessible to the information that I'm picking up. I find that meditation is an integral part of learning, so I incorporate it into all of my classes. And you can see the full library of everything that I offer over on onewellapothecaries.com or through the link below. So if you liked this video and you found that it was helpful, share it with someone else who maybe is thinking about either starting or deepening their meditation practice. And if you already have a practice, I would absolutely love to hear from you in the comments. What has helped you to continually show up? What has been the tools, tips, tricks, or aha moments that make meditation something that really feels nurturing for you? All of us are truly learning together, and I'm so excited to hear from you what has been your magic moments with meditation.